Rotary certainly has some membership challenges. However, there are people who are thinking creatively and seeing membership growth. We're going to talk to these inventive Rotarians and get some tips that you can try. Welcome to the Innovative Clubs videocast. Hey folks, Andy Van Hook here, Zone 33 ARC. Today I have the pleasure of interviewing Meghan Schenker Fulcher. She is the chair of the Rocktown Rotary Satellite Club in District 7570, and they are located in Harrisonburg, Virginia. Meghan, thanks for joining me today.
Hey, thanks, Andy.
Awesome. So let's talk a little bit about your satellite club. Why did you want to start a satellite club, and talk a little bit about what your connection was to Rotary before you even decided to start a satellite club?
Yeah, so I actually am connected by Rotary with my husband. So Keston Fulcher is part of the Harrisonburg Rotary Club. And he is one of the things that I just love most about him, and one of the things that really attracted him to our relationship is that he was really into community service. And so he introduced me to Rotary and to all of the events. So I went with him to district conference. I did a few things with Rotaract with him. One of my favorite memories, actually, recalling is the Strawberry Festival. And I helped with the Strawberry Festival making these chocolate-covered strawberries. And I just got to meet all these people, and it was really fun connecting with everybody. And I was like, oh, this is what I want to do. I want to be part of this for Harrisonburg and for the community. So I was really interested in becoming a member. And I was really trying to pave my own way here because Keston lived in Harrisonburg for quite a while, and I was a transplant. I had moved from Charlottesville when we had gotten married in 2017, and was really trying to find a different Rotary club. But all of the Rotary clubs were meeting in the morning, or they were meeting in the afternoon during lunchtime, and I'm a school teacher, so that was just not a possibility for me at all to try to do that, to get off and go meet every week. And that was the other piece, was that it was every week, so it was a really big commitment. And then the other piece to it was the structure of the money. It was pretty expensive for both of us to do Rotary. And then the other piece is when I actually went to the actual meeting. So it was a little different. I had done the community service piece, and I had done the district conference and had seen a lot of people. But when I went to the actual meetings, there was just a lot of men, and there was a lot of people who didn't necessarily look like me and didn't come from the same background in terms of teaching. And so it just didn't feel the same fit that I wanted it to. So I was like, well, how am I going to make this work? And I'm a bit of a pusher. And so I was like, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make this work. So I had talked to you, Andy, and I had talked to Sue, was the president at the time. And I said, so can I just make my own club? And you both were like, yeah, let's do it. So that's kind of how it started. And I think I probably got off track. There was another question to this answer?
I think no. You're off to a great start. That's perfect. We can roll right into the next question, because I think that kind of encapsulated everything really nicely there. So talk about what it looked like and how you started to build it from the ground up before your first official meeting. So what did you do? You've kind of brought us to the point where you had the idea, and you've gotten some good thumbs up, green light from the parent club. And so what were your next steps? How did you take it from there?
So I actually set myself a date. I was thinking, okay, I really would like to try to do this in a year. I was really taking that I took about 8 months or so to really finalize things and get things together. So one of the things was talking to Sue and seeing if that was a possibility, and then talking with Andy, with you, and then also talking to Jeremy, actually, the district governor at that time. He kind of needed to be part of that process too, just to figure out if this was even a possibility for us, and in which club, because there's so many wonderful clubs here in Harrisonburg, which club wanted us in a way to host us. So we were trying to figure that piece out. One of the other important pieces that I knew just in my own leadership is I wanted 2 women to be with me to start this, because I knew that it was such a big undertaking. It was really important for me to have 2 passionate women who were part of the community who could also help recruit people, because that was really, we were going on the bottom here. We were going from the grassroots to try to recruit people. So I really wanted to make sure I had 3 people in this leadership team to start. Even though in a satellite club, you can just have a chair and you don't really necessarily have to have anyone else, but just thought that was really important. And then we actually set up info sessions. And so we had 3 info sessions in the summertime, just to try to get some interest. And we also used Facebook. That was really important, to recruit people, to get people interested. And then we had word of mouth that helped us get people. And so those info sessions were a chance for us to just meet and get together. We provided food and alcohol, because that's always really helpful. I know food brings people, so
that's right.
I'm a school teacher. I know how that works. So I was like, this is really important. So that helped get people interested. And then we just basically spent some time with them and had some fellowship and told them the story of why we were doing this, and got a lot of people on board from that.
Cool. Excellent. Thank you. So how did you recruit people to those info sessions?
Yeah. So I like I said, I had used the 2 women that were with me. We actually compiled a list of just women we knew. And again, part of the reason for also making this club was that I really wanted to recruit solid, strong women who I knew were interested in community service, much like me. So that was really important, that my leadership team was women and still is and will be. And then also that they helped get the list together. So then I also started talking to friends. Again, like I said, it was about 9 months. So I had time to really chat with people and kind of give them the information and kind of give them just a broad overview of what I was trying to do. And that helped then spread the word, because they then were talking to others. And it's kind of innovative and new in the idea that it was really centered around women, and that wasn't something that they knew about. And so it was really important. It was important for them. So they felt it was great to pass it on. And then I have a pretty big teaching network. And so I passed that on to a lot of teacher friends, and they, again, passed it on to others. And we still have that list going too. It's kind of important for us to help continue the membership.
Cool. Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the host club, parent club, whatever we want to call it, the Harrisonburg Club, who helped you all out. How were they helpful? Were they helpful? And did you find them supportive? And if so, why was that important?
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, Sue said, yes, I could do it. So that was the first wonderful thing. I was like, okay, there we go. So they were super helpful, and they were very willing to help us out. And it wasn't even just the host or parent club. They were also willing to pass it on to another club if they didn't feel like it was going to work for them. But I think that they saw that innovation is really important. They also saw how many people were on this list and how many people came to the informational session. And that kind of also moved them to say, oh, wow, they're really serious. They mean business here. And I tried as a leader, and it's, again, very important, and I'm learning still in the process, but to really involve them and keep them posted on everything. And we have meetings with them continuously, monthly, so that they really know what we're doing, so that it feels aligned to them and it doesn't feel threatening.
Cool. So what were some obstacles that you ran into along the way that you may not have expected going into it? Mm-hmm. And you can talk a little bit about how you overcame those or had to adjust your plan.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we're still kind of dealing with this too. It's just such a new process, having a satellite club and all of the different pieces that go with it. It's just brand new. And I think with that, there are some traditions that Rotary wants to stick with, and then there are some traditions that I would like to challenge. And so it's just a matter of what can be and what can't be challenged. And that's that's sometimes just a growing pain.
Mm-hmm.
And then, again, we have a different pay structure. So we're much cheaper. And we also, because we're cheaper, we have only it's only basically $200 for the whole year. So it's the idea of how do we pay for it? Do we pay for it in different segments, or can we just pay for it altogether? So that's still, again, an obstacle we're still trying to figure out. But I think good communication is really key for that. And that's just what we are just keep pushing. The other piece to it too is we wanted to add a treasurer, because we thought, well, we're really trying to be our own club within the satellite club. And that's, again, another push, that's different. That's not usual. So just trying to figure out how those dues work for our treasurer versus the parent club treasurer. So those are some of the challenges.
Okay. So, we talked about kind of how you got interested, got the thing moving, some of the challenges that you faced. Well, what does your club look like? Let's talk about the payoff. Let's talk about, that first meeting that you had, the first official meeting you had. Let's talk about, how many people you brought in and inducted and what your club looks like now.
So exciting. We had 20 people that we inducted on the first session with the most fabulous cake ever that I still so excited about, because I froze it like a wedding cake and I'm bringing it out again in a year. So that was 20 in September, and we are now up to 35. And it is made up of 80% women. And we have, and again, we're not necessarily saying no men, but we are also just making it very clear that the leadership and the things around it are kind of centered around women. So it's 80% women and about 7 men that are in there that are involved. And then as far as ethnicities, that's the other piece. We're really trying to push for diversity, and we're, again, some growing pains with that, but that's really important for our community. That is Harrisonburg in itself. It's just a very diverse community. So we're really pushing for that diversity and just awareness for our African-American and Hispanic populations to just know what Rotary is. And that's just really important for us.
All right, Meghan, you kind of gave me an idea of, the gender mix, and that you're working on the diversity front, but, when you have some diversity, and I know that you are definitely the most diverse club in our area. So kudos to you for that. What does, to continue on the diversity piece, what does the age look like of your club?
Mm-hmm. Which is really interesting. And I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but I think it spun from the fact that the group, the core women that started the group, myself and the 2 other women, were also in different age groups. So we actually have ages 25 to about 60. And that's our span. And it's just been beautiful, because it's really we have even some 50-year-olds who are bringing some friends over that are in their 20s, because they know that this is a better fit for them. So it's just a really cool age span of about 20-ish years.
Well, that skews way younger than traditional kind of Rotary numbers look. And, and I think that it's, people have often asked, how do you recruit, quote unquote, how do you recruit younger folks to Rotary? And I think you've touched on it, right? It's the traditional model doesn't necessarily fit based on either their work schedule won't allow it, or they may not have the quote unquote clout at work yet to be able to take an hour and a half to go to a lunch.
Right.
And then the cost structure on that as well. So I think it's a great spot that you guys have created for not just the teacher set, but also some other young professionals in the community to come and serve.
And I think it's also a bridge between the Rotaract piece and the Rotary piece, and we're sort of like this beautiful happy medium in between. Because I think with Rotaract, if you expect them just to go to a traditional club from where they have been, and I just know this from experience with Keston and working with Alex Ritchie and some others, is that they then are trying to jump into this other club where it might be a little bit more intimidating, and also the structure of men versus women too. It's really interesting. Rotaract is mostly women, and then they go to Rotary and it's mostly men. So I think this is just a really nice happy medium.
Let's talk real quick. How did we've all had to deal with COVID in some form or fashion. And we didn't talk about how often you meet, and the service projects and that kind of thing, how often you're doing those. So why don't we talk about that, and then how you had to shift once COVID hit. So,
okay. So we meet once a month at a restaurant/bar upstairs. It's called Beyond. It's a great restaurant. And the owners have been so wonderful with us. So we meet there, and our speaker is usually someone who's focused in from Harrisonburg, and it's connected to our community service project. So our community service project also happens the same month or the month after. So there's always at least 2 times for people to see each other and have contact with each other. One of the things we were going to add before COVID was having some another social interaction as well. And we have an idea for that. So I'll go into that in a minute. So once a month, and then we have our speaker is connected to our service project, and we have one of our most important things is that we provided about 8 service projects, and we wanted members to attend 6 of those. So service was really important to us, more so than the attendance, because we also know when we're talking about women, we're also talking about busy lives and lots of children and things that they have to do. And so it's okay if once in a while they don't make the meeting, but the service idea and connecting it to their family was really important to us. Now that COVID's happened, we are doing the same process. So we're doing Zoom meetings instead. I'm getting really good at those. I think for the first time last month, I was like, yes, I actually got this, so I can do this more often. So we're doing a Zoom meeting, same structure, having a speaker in our community. Our mayor is going to be speaking to us next month. We're super excited about that. And trying to get some service projects still. That's really hard because we really wanted to make them hands-on, and being with COVID, we can't. But what we have thought about is doing a book study. So having our members actually attend a book study of their choice, so it still connects them and gives them a chance to have a little bit of small group connection with something around equity and inclusion and diversity.
Awesome. Let's talk real quick about what advice you would give to a club who is considering starting a satellite club, or have someone express interest in starting a satellite club.
Yeah. So one of the things I was thinking about, I really, really love that question, because I was like, well, what does it really look like? I don't know. I just did it, right? But I think it's also thinking outside of the box, like thinking about who it is in your club that you're not necessarily reaching, and asking that person. So for example, Keston knew that I was interested. My husband knew that I was interested. I wanted to be part of Rotary, but I have no Rotary experience other than just hanging out with him. And because I was part of his process, then that's how I started it. So I think it's just thinking about a spouse, or thinking about a school teacher, or somebody that is really connected to the community, who would benefit from having Rotary, and also benefit your club by making it bigger and more broad to other people, more available.
I think that's great advice. I would also say that it needs a champion. And I know the Rocktown Club has had a champion in you. So thank you for that. It really takes somebody who's passionate about doing it, not somebody who's been forced to do it.
True.
So I think that you having that energy to do it has been a big driver for that. So thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time to chat with me about your awesome satellite club. And I'd also like to say, keep on innovating and pushing Rotary forward.
Thanks, Andy. Really appreciate it.